What is up, guys? Might not look like it, but it is fall, y'all. Here in a few weeks, these green trees are gonna turn yellow. It's gonna be so pretty. I'm kind of jealous for our friends up north because their leaves have already been changing, but ours not so much. It is a beautiful Friday morning. Feels like I'm running in air conditioning. It's 65 degrees out here. You can see the dew on the ground. Whoop. Let's not slip over this slick spot. But yeah, wonderful day to run. We're on our second rehab run, trying to make sure that this right ankle is good to go before we continue on with any more half marathon training. And I'm already 9/10 of a mile into this run and ankle's feeling pretty good. I think it's these sweeping right turns that really get to me, like the one that is coming up right here. It's the only time I really feel it. So let's see how it works right here. Hold on, we're gonna speed it up so we look cool. Didn't mean to pick up the pace right there, but it is what it is. What can you do? So we're almost to a mile. There we go, there's a mile. And really no discomfort with that ankle. I think I'm gonna go a half mile more and then kind of leave it there. Don't want to push it too hard. And like I promised in the last video, we'll go slowly, gain some miles up before we really hit it. I want to get to 5 miles before I start back up with that program. So shortly before I got out here to run, I was doing my daily number 2, and I came across this video that's been circulating for the last week from the Berlin Marathon, where this guy had blown out a shoe. I guess the shoe malfunctioned somehow, and he was without a shoe, and some random spectator apparently had a shoe that worked for him. They swapped out shoes and the dude finished that marathon with somebody else's shoe. I thought that was pretty cool. But it got me thinking, what was the worst malfunction I ever had? I don't think I've had one that was that catastrophic. I think maybe if I've worn the wrong socks before and the socks were like falling down my heel. I've done that before, but nothing as catastrophic as needing to swap out shoes. A lot of these modern shoes, they're built pretty good. But I don't know, maybe the guy had a ton of miles on him and was just running in Old Faithfuls. So on the topic of shoes, I think I've done at least 100 miles in these Nova Blast 5s. 10 of 10 would recommend them over and over again. Haven't had any issues with them. They look great. Yeah, they are awesome. Also, where was all these sprinklers when it was really hot and I was running and struggling? Anyways, so when I was looking for shoes, I was in between these and the Adidas Evos, and I think the Adidas Evos look sharp, man. Very basic looking. We're about to go through some sprinklers, mist. Hopefully the image quality doesn't go down because I think that lens got misted, but regardless. Oh, quick detour. I don't know how long we're gonna be able to see these guys, but they're the sunflowers up on that wall. And yeah, that's the one bad part about it getting cold. Not a good climate for flowers to grow in unless they're fake. Maybe we plant some fake flowers everywhere, or maybe in little bitty spots, inconspicuous, like Easter eggs throughout the neighborhood. But anyways, the Adidas Evos, I thought it was simple look, classic, sleek, bold. I don't know, they look really good. But why did I go with the Asics? Well, it's my bias against Adidas, unfortunately. And it's not fair, but speaking of shoe blowouts a little while ago, when you grow up watching sports, and you see Damian Lillard get his signature shoe and winds up with a catastrophic leg injury. And then the same thing happens with Robert Griffin III, and he had a very promising career ahead of him with Washington, and he breaks down. However, I would argue that I think it might have been overused by Washington, because that guy liked to scramble around and he was super mobile, and I don't know. It might not have been the shoes. Actually, I don't think it was the shoes. Any of these injuries. I think it was just unfortunate that they had Adidas on. Same thing with Kevin Ware, that kid who broke his leg in dramatic fashion in the NCAA tournament. But yeah, all had Adidas, and growing up seeing that kind of stuff, you're like, maybe I don't do Adidas. And so I was a Nike fanboy for a long time. Also a sucker for good marketing. That's unfortunate. But yeah, so with that in mind, I was like, you know what, let me just stick with what I know. Asics. Some of my favorite runners of all time were Asics. And it'd been a few years since I've gotten some, so I went with these. Would I give Adidas a try? Absolutely. Are we at 2 miles? Almost. And actually, to circle back to actual shoe malfunctions, I think most of the shoe malfunctions I've ever heard of happened with Nikes. LeBron James had one time. Zion Williamson had one that he like completely blew out of that shoe. I think Paul George, when he had his injury, he was wearing Nikes as well. So back to my point earlier, it doesn't really matter what shoe you are. Freak things happen, especially if you're playing at such a high intensity like these professional athletes are. It's just some cheeky marketing. I'm sure they have like these underground marketing ploys that are like, hey, let's infiltrate social media and slander the other company. Man, I can't believe I fell for that. All right, that was 2 miles at an 11:30 pace. Ankle feels okay. Maybe put a little bit of ice on it and keep that recovery effort going. I'm really pleased with the ankle. I didn't feel much when I was running in regards to discomfort, except when I made those gradual right hand turns, I could feel a little bit pressure on that ankle. I'm pleased with the progress that ankle is making, and I'm confident I can get into a spot where I can start training seriously again. Yeah, so in the meantime, while we're healing up this leg, what are we doing? I'm trying to lift the weights a little bit more. Just some traditional push-pull leg day stuff. Fortunately, my squatting motion doesn't really aggravate my ankle too bad, so I feel like I'm okay doing that. Push-pull, push days is just bench and tricep extensions. Pull days are just lat pull downs and low rows, that sort of thing. Just something simple. Try to keep it a little bit heavy, because apparently whenever you're running a lot, your testosterone can dip. Getting a little bit older now, I don't need much help dipping that testosterone. So apparently if you lift heavy, you can increase your testosterone levels a little bit. And I haven't had any issues, but I don't want to start having issues, so it's best to get it out ahead of these sorts of things. Yeah, that's the plan here in the next few weeks. Ankle, should be good. I have a 3-mile run here in a few days. Maybe I'll make that a 5K, and then and if that works out, then we'll try 4 miles and then 5 miles. And then if that 5-mile run turns out okay and the ankle feels good, we're going to start a new Runna training block to train for our year-end half marathon, where we're going to go for a 2-hour half marathon, sub 2-hour half marathon. It's a lofty goal. Don't know if we'll make it. I think my fitness, according to every other app, says that I could probably do it in, excuse me, 2:30. I think Koros thinks I can do it in 2:25. But I don't know. Stranger things have happened. I've surprised myself in the past, but we'll hit it hard. I think I'm going to try to focus on nutrition as well, a little bit heavy.
You know, I can afford to lose a little bit of weight. Not that this is a weight loss journey at all, but I was watching a video a couple weeks ago, and somebody was like, "Yeah, you know, running with a little bit of extra weight is like running with a running vest. You know, you lose the pounds, and it's like you've been training with all of this." Weight like a weighted vest. So I was like, man, if I could lose like 10 pounds, it'd be like I'd been training this whole time with a 10-pound running vest. So, you know, we have 100 days. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. I do eat a lot of junk food, so just cut some of that out and cut out beer, even though I drink beer like once a week. But you know, it's the little things. Cut out the frappuccino that I eat, or maybe make a small. I eat ice cream every other day. Maybe cut out some of that ice cream. You know, it's not really getting into a diet. It's just limiting my portions, and you know, a little bit healthier on the joints too, with a little bit less weight. So, not trying to get ripped, shredded, get a six pack, but you know, trying to make it a little bit easier on my body as I try to increase these miles. And I know you're not supposed to be trying to lose weight while you're trying to increase volume, but you know, maybe it's a side effect of increased volume because my volume's low anyways. I think I was averaging 12, 13 miles a week. That's relatively low for some people who run all the time, right? It's high for a lot of people. I mean, it's high for me normally because I don't run as often as I should, especially somebody who touts themselves as a runner. But who's to compare, right? But anyways, it's fall. Let's go take advantage of this good run weather that's coming up. And thanks for running with me. See you next time.